You're listening to the Make It Matter show with Ryan C. Greene, the show all about creating a life of unforgettable impact and abundant fulfillment. I'm Ryan C. Greene. Let's get into today's show. All right, welcome to this week's episode of Make It Matter show with Ryan C. Greene. I am your host, Ryan C. Greene. Those who've been following us, you know we have been spotlighting all our awesome authors from our project that we've had. We've been able to really it's just been a great series of shows, and now we have opened up our platform. We are welcoming in not every, I won't say everyone, but no, we've already selected who we welcome in, but we are welcoming in people who are going to bring value and help us make something matter. And today I want to bring on a very special friend, Dr. Catherine Jackson, and today we're going to talk about making your mental health matter. So welcome to the show, Dr. Jackson. How are you?
Thank you. I am good. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. I'm excited to have you here because, I've worked with you a little bit over the last year and a half. So I know what work you're doing and how important it is. So it's important for me to share what you do with our listeners and viewers for a couple of reasons, mainly because dealing with mental health. And I think that the last year and a half, what we have experienced, I think many of us have realized that when it was, I thought we were good, you realize, maybe I need a little help.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to talk to somebody. Maybe I need some ways to navigate through this thing. So I want to welcome you. So let's go ahead and introduce Dr. Catherine to our listeners and tell them who you are and what it is that you specialize in.
I'm Dr. Catherine Jackson. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and a board-certified neurotherapist, which in short means that I'm a brain psychologist. I focus on the brain and traditional mental health techniques and helping people to feel, think, and be at their best.
Awesome. So, reason I wanted to make sure we had you on is because we want to talk about the mental health right now and what people have gone through. Just how would you, because we hear mental health, we hear the word, and we know obviously it has something to do with the health of your mental state. But how would you define mental health? If someone were to come to you and say, let's discuss mental health, what does that mean to you?
Well, my first thing is that it's an overall part of your wellness period. So I think a lot of times we separate like the physical health and then mental health is somewhere all the way over here, or even spiritual health, mental, physical health, all your other types of health, they're all like over here. And mental health is like all the way over there, but they are all together. And mental health is like your emotional well-being, and it spills over into how you think and how you behave too.
Great. And what are some of the things that maybe you have had people coming to you about in the last year or so, really? And what I want to do is focus on entrepreneurs because I want to make sure that they have a special set of challenges. So from an entrepreneur level, what are some of the top things that you've seen people struggling with or having to come to talk to you about?
I feel like that one of the biggest struggles with entrepreneurs is many entrepreneurs are by themselves. Few people have a whole team. And so they're more isolated. And then there's so much work that you're doing on your own when you're by yourself. And so there's this lack of sense of community. And that will often, what it looks like on my end, I see a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, and then special circumstances for everybody is a lot of trauma right now with everything that's going on while we're in the pandemic.
Wow, great. So I want to talk to you about. Let's say this. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm I am an entrepreneur, but I'm using me as an example. This is not real. This is a rhetorical or illustrative purposes, put it that way. So let's say I'm an entrepreneur. All right, I've come to you, and I've been struggling this year. All right, and I know that like you said, I've been alone. And maybe I have a business that really relies on the interaction of individuals. All right. And now I'm coming to you and I'm like, hey, I'm ready to give it up, hang it up. I'm not, I'm taking it personally, like it's me that messed up. What are some of the things that you might help an entrepreneur do, or some steps you could give them to kind of get their mental side back to position themselves to be ready to succeed on the other end of this? Because hopefully we're coming out of this thing. So what are some things that you might help that entrepreneur do?
I try to help them get back on track, like with their routine.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's routine got thrown off once the pandemic hit.
Right.
And so, like you said, even if you work alone, you're not getting that normal connection of when you go here and get that and do this and you're talking to people. So, trying to, as safely as possible, get reconnected to their routine. Some of the routines will look different now, too. So, if you normally would meet with certain people to have a meeting, make sure that you're doing those some of those same meetings, but don't make them phone calls. Make them like this. This is as connected as some of us can get. I also try to help entrepreneurs just look at how they're feeling and what parts, what is actually coming up and how they're feeling. Why is it coming about? Is it because of the pandemic? Is it because they're more isolated right now? Do they need more social? And what does more social look like at this point?
Sorry about that. Now you have a new book. We want to talk about the book because, I know as an expert, people always ask questions. They want to come, no matter what your expertise is, people are going to always come ask you questions. So when you take those questions or that expertise and finally put it in a book, it's a great thing because now you can
Yeah.
say, hey, here's the answer to all the questions. So I'll say that because I want people who are watching and listening to understand that, hey, there is a book now that you
Yeah.
can go and that'll help get you started. And the book is called The Couch Experience. I love
I
that
got to
title.
get
Love
it
that
there.
title. So
Yep.
talk to us about the couch experience, what the book is about, and how, you were able to finally come and put these things together into a book.
So it wasn't hard to put it into the book because I was getting, like what you said, a bunch of questions, a lot of direct messages or text messages and such. And sometimes, before everything shut down, people face to face asking me for. First, they will ask if I can see them,
Mm-hmm.
and half the time I can't. But they would ask me like how can they find somebody, like either it was the person who came to me or one of their loved ones who would need like the services of a licensed mental health professional. And so instead of continuing to answer like a million questions, some of it was repeat and some of it was specialized. I just put it all in the book from A to Z, from beginning to end. So when people are looking for a therapist, all the stuff that you do before you even get connected to what the first session looks like, all the way to terminating. And terminating is not always a bad thing, and it doesn't always have to be like ugly or anything. Sometimes you end because you're done and you're doing
Right.
great.
So let's talk about that. I want to ask you about the beginning, and then I do want to cover that terminating part too, and especially people in our community. I don't know, the whole saying, black people don't see therapists,
Yeah.
which we should, and I think more of us are starting to do that. But you mentioned things to do beforehand. So maybe what are some things that people should consider before they start therapy?
One of the main things I tell people is don't just accept whoever they give you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you call an organization, because sometimes you call an organization and that's just that one person, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you call an organization or a mental health practice and they have multiple therapists, you have the right to request what you want. So if somebody who is male and black is important to you, then ask for that. Or if they can't meet your full needs, they'll try to give you the best match. So case in point, I work at a group practice, and somebody requested a black male therapist. We don't have any, and so they sent them to me. And so, because
You were the
that's the
next best
closest
thing.
thing, black female.
Right.
That was the closest thing. But do your research. So whether you go and you find get referrals from your insurance company, or if you get referrals by like just looking and seeing what's around in your neighborhood, go do the research. Go see what they list about themselves on their websites, whether it's a company website or their own personal websites, and then Google people, see what else is out there, and see if what they offer fits and matches what you need. Somebody can look good, sound good, and have a whole bunch of credentials, but if that doesn't match with what you need, it won't matter. It won't
Right,
matter.
right,
Like I have
right,
one lady who really wanted a doctor, and I didn't have space. And
right.
so I sent her to this another woman. We had a similar style, and she just didn't have doctor on at the beginning of her name, but she was awesome. And she wrote me back, like sent me a text message weeks later, and told me how much she loved working with her. But she was
Wow.
so hesitant. It
Right.
was a good match, though.
Wow. Good. Good. Now I want to talk about the terminating part because I've been to a therapist and I've been went for quite some time and it kind of was. I would say this for a while. I was like, okay. I'm like, I think like what am I still going here for? Like what are we doing? Like how long is this supposed to go on?
Yeah.
And then I finally breached the conversation with him. I had a male therapist. It took me about 4 months to finally be like
Ooh.
bring it up. I'm like, what are we really doing at this point? It was good conversation, but I was like, I'm not really feeling like we're doing anything. So when I finally brought it up, he actually, said the same thing that it was we were good. We kind of reached a point where it was no need to keep coming every other week. So, but I didn't know how to do that. I was even in that situation. So, let's talk about the termination. How do you know when you've had enough therapy for that moment? Because it doesn't mean you're gonna stop forever. But how do you know when enough is enough?
First of all, I want to say commend you for being a Black man who went to therapy. Yes,
All
that's a
right.
big thing. That's a big thing. But that's how you know. So often therapists will notice it. Like we're not really doing as much. They're kind of coming in and just talking. And you know by whatever you put in place in the beginning, and if you feel better than what you did at first, if things look different than what it was when you first went in. So if you were like highly anxious when you first went in, and then you and your therapist work together, you put some interventions in place, and now you're feeling much better. You don't get as heightened whenever there's something new going on or whatever was the issue, and you notice that you're responding to things a lot better. That's when the patient, know that it's time. You can bring that up with your therapist. But oftentimes, therapists will notice, like what you said, that it seems like it's more conversational. Um, I know for me, I check in like 3 times, and if it seems like it's like kind of more conversational, everything's been stable for over 3 sessions, then I have that conversation with patients about starting to either decrease sessions or we talk about terminating and ending completely.
Awesome. Awesome. So see there. There's no worry. You all can go to counseling, just talk to somebody,
Yes.
figure out some whatever it is that you need,
Yeah.
and no, they're not sitting there trying to string you along. They got things to
Yeah.
do too. Just one thing I do know about just about every therapist I know and have talked to, y'all stay booked. So it's like you're not trying to, you don't have to keep people on board who don't need to be there.
Especially
So
not this year.
right, right, especially
There's
now,
so many
right.
people coming in. Yeah.
Good, good. So you have something kind of cool called some I don't mess up the name, but some therapy cards or something like
Yeah.
that. Tell us about that.
I'm going to show it to you. The
Oh, there
therapy
we go. Hold on, hold on,
cards.
hold it still so we can put it
Yeah.
back up there and hold it
The
still real quick
therapy
so we can get
cards
them.
are, I'm just going to kind of spread a couple out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
this was the sampler edition here, and that's the only one that's available. In May, um, there are 5 other types that are coming out, and the sampler has all like something from all 5.
Okay.
And so, if somebody wants more of a certain kind of a card, they can get the whole pack. But what I created these to have for people to have more conversations around mental health and to help destigmatize and reduce the stigma around mental health. So, just like you have, I don't know, mostly everybody has some kind of cards around the house, or maybe it's just me because I'm a mental health professional. We all do. And so those cards stimulate good conversation. And for people who don't have a therapist, these are not a substitute. I'm just going to say that as a disclaimer. But while you're looking, and if it takes you a long time, like I think you said, it took you a little while before you got connected with the therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So you could use these to kind of explore how you're feeling along the way. And then once you get connected to a therapist, you can bring some of that information in, and you've already started
Gotcha.
getting some of the work done. And so this is a great tool for therapists and for people who are looking for a therapist. And you can use it alone or with your therapist. It's a great conversation to just talk about
Right.
wellness, period, in families as well.
Read one of the cards for me, just so that we can kind of get a feel of what it exactly it is. It doesn't matter,
Yeah.
just anything.
So one of them that I used with the patient last week, it says, and you fill in the blank. I am, and you fill in the blank, in spite of. And so she gave three answers. It was real powerful what she was kind of sharing. So some of them are fill in the blank. Some of them are like just questions. So here's a
Hmm.
question: what support do I need currently? And so
Wow.
that could be, your answer might be therapist, your answer might be more support from your family, your friends, something like that. So you could journal about that. And then once you have more insight, you could try to connect to people and actually do something about that. And there's
Awesome.
five different types of cards in here. There are action-oriented cards like meditate, and it tells you why you should meditate and how good that is for your brain, on and on. So, and then there's mental health quotes by mental health professionals and wellness people. So
Awesome.
that's three different types of cards. There's like five different types in there in this pack.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So listen, I want you to go ahead and give us some final words, some things that can really help the entrepreneur make it matter, make their mental health matter, how they can really take control of that to make sure that they're in a good place mentally.
So don't quote me on the statistics totally, but I believe the last time that I read from one of the national mental health organizations, 72% of entrepreneurs experience mental health issues.
All
It's
right.
because of that isolation and having to do so much often on your own, and the loneliness of it. Even though there's like so many entrepreneurs, so few of us get together
Mm-hmm.
and talk about what it's like to have so much to do, and trying to reach our professional goals with our companies. And so don't don't forget about the this whole thing that a therapist can help you through that time, so that while you're trying to build, you don't have to plummet, and then you're slowing down the process within your company.
Wow. Okay. So tell us how we can get a copy of that awesome new book. If these cards are for sale, I know you said that was a sample, but if they're for sale, let them know how they can get that and
Yeah,
how
the
they
book
can
is
get get in touch with Dr. Catherine Jackson.
there. So to get in touch with me, I'm pretty much everywhere, just like you, Ryan.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You can find me all over the web, but I'm on Instagram, Dr. Catherine Jackson, Dr. Catherine Jackson with a C. I am on Facebook at Dr. Dr. period Catherine period Jackson, and on Twitter at Dr. CC Jackson. For the cards, you can find those. You can just link up to my website, which is drcatherinejackson.com. And then for the book, you can go to Amazon. Just put in The Couch Experience, A Guide to Good Therapy, and you can get a copy there. And if you want a signed copy, which you get all kinds of cool extras, you can get that in May. I'll have signed copies available on the website.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Always a pleasure talking to you.
You
Thank
too.
you for joining us, helping us make our mental health matter. I want to thank you and wish you all the best on the book, everything that's coming forward for you, and definitely looking forward to what's about to, all the success you're about to have.
Thank you. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. So you've been watching and listening to another episode of the Make It Matter show with Ryan C. Greene. Make sure you go ahead, share this out, like, subscribe, whatever. You see the links down below. Always have free gifts for you. Make sure you do that. Take advantage of that. Thank you for your support. Share this wherever you're watching it. And we'll talk to you again next week. And as always, make it matter.